Marriages and long-term relationships have better and worse times, as do most things in life.
But how do you know when things have gotten to the point that you should seek professional help? And wouldn't it be great if you could avoid that? So here to talk about some of those things to practice that will help keep you out of going to couples therapy, our relationship guru, Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal. Hey there, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good morning.
Good morning. I assume you have a good list for us of what not to do when you are trying to address maybe some problems in your marriage, but you're thinking, let's not go all the way to the therapy route.
Yes, exactly. So the first thing I want to say is sort of an important caveat is just to say that this advice that I'm going to talk about today is for use only when there are none of the hard problems, what we call the 3 hard problems in our relationships, which is abuse, affairs, or addiction. So if those are issues, go straight, do not pass go straight to the couples therapist. If those aren't though in the works in your relationship, then here are some things to really pay attention to. The first important thing not to do is to try very hard not to blame your partner, not to make them the enemy, and to blame all of the problems in the relationship on them. The second thing not to do is not to withdraw or refuse to talk. Silent treatment, which many people use as sort of a coping skill, is actually really damaging to the relationship.
Can you talk about things that you should do in a relationship then? Because you talked about things you shouldn't do.
Yes. So what you want to try to do, and I see this so much, and I mean, I would say that a great deal of my work is helping people understand that they do have a part to play in what's going wrong in the relationship and sort of understanding what that is. Because when you think about what can you control and what can you not control, people come in saying basically like, fix my spouse, right? Like that's kind of a joke in the marriage and family therapy field. That's the presenting problem. And actually we can't not only can the therapist not fix anybody, right? We can help people to figure out how to fix themselves. And so this is why really thinking deeply about what you might be bringing to the table, in terms of what's going on in the dynamic. The second thing is to try to have important conversations at times of the day when neither of you are hangry, maybe after you've had breakfast, maybe make sure you've had enough sleep. The third thing is to turn toward each other. This is from the Gottman's research, which is some of the best relationship research we have. And turning towards means understanding that every relationship is a pattern, it's a dynamic. And so you both are in it. And one way to really help with that is when you're talking about things to use we language, to say, oh, we are doing this again. Oops, we've fallen into this pattern that we have. And then the last thing, and this may sound so simple, and it's really, I think it can be so hard for folks, do the best you can to make sure you have at least a little time to be with each other, where you're not talking about like the kids or chores or,
bills.
Sort of the sort of daily logistics. Even if it's just going for a 15-minute walk once a day, if you can manage a little bit of time, that's so important.
How long do you give this a try before you say, this isn't working? We do need to see someone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I would say is, try to listen to that little voice inside. And if that voice starts to feel hopeless and despairing, that's usually a good sign that maybe you need some outside help, like, some kind of mediator, a third party, a sort of neutral party. But actually, marriage and family therapists, our job is to help people with their relationships until they tell us to stop helping. That's basically how we see it. So if you get to that point, here's some tips on how to find a good couples therapist. You can ask friends who've done successful couples therapy. There are actually many couples who come in just sort of for like tune-ups, and that can be just a great idea. It's like a forum in which you can have conversations about some of the harder things in your relationship. Professional organizations, the Minnesota Association of Marriage and Family Therapy is a good one. Psychology Today, websites that list therapists and their specialties. But the most important thing I will say, if you're looking for a couples therapist, make sure that they have training as a couples therapist, because there's all different training out there. And, it is possible that someone who doesn't have that particular training might be good working with couples, but it's really a different way of looking at things. And so really to get the best outcome, you want to have someone who has experience working with couples, who has specific training. And LMFT is a particular licensure, but other people can also be good. And when you interview the therapist, ask them specifically about their experience working with couples.
Kirsten, great conversation. Thanks for your insight. We appreciate your time.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.